Hey yo, how's everybody doing? I have another journal that's going to be available in my Etsy shop if anybody is interested. This is one that I worked on when I was doing the last binder journal for a customer, custom order, and I just never finished it. So over the past couple of weeks, I've been working on it here and there, and I really like the way it turned out. It is full of all kinds of fun stuff in here. It's just packed. So it's similar to the other sort of Western country farmhouse ones that I've done, but this one really is more, it's less about, horses and stuff like the ones I did for me and Peyton. It's more a mix of just sort of country farmhouse. So I really like the way it turned out. It's a ton of layering on the front. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pieces of fabric layered on the front, and then an old Levi's pocket. And this is sort of a stretch denim, so it's got some give, so you can put probably quite a bit in here. And it's a double pocket, so it's a pocket here and then a pocket behind there. And then there is I stitched through this, so there's another pocket here. So there's 3 pockets on the front. And I made this little tag. I love this little girl right here. This came from a paper pack that I found, a paper stack that I found. I think it's an authentic farmhouse collection. And there were some little journaling cards on there. I thought she was so cute. So I made a tag, file folder, and some collage on the back. And this was actually from an old Sears and Roebuck ad, and I thought it was cute how I didn't do this intentionally. It just sort of ended up there. But that was in some stuff that came in those kits I bought from Renee that I'm still, I still haven't used all that stuff up, and I've made several journals. So anyway, so there's that little tag there. And then I made a tag here with the piece of fabric, that last little girl. I'm not sure if I have much of this left, but with that little girl fabric. And then I layered, I used in one of my those old green dividers that I'm almost out of, that were recycled from work. And then I put some of that straw paper from Rachel on the back, which is really nice writing space, and just a little piece of vintage, little vintage tab there for another tag that fits back here. And of course you don't have to leave those there, you can move them around. The whole thing is covered with a really cool vintage piece of bandana fabric, and it's more like a burgundy red. It's not like red. It's definitely a burgundy red. So I don't know how it's going to come through on the video, but I want you to know that. So Phaedra sent me that. She found it at one of her really cool stores in Texas, but it's really awesome. I love it, and I have a huge other piece of it. It was a piece that had never been cut, so it was really cool. And the little fast color all cotton and number actually ended up down here. And 2 of my fabric flowers and a vintage wooden button here. And then I put this really, I had made 2 tassels when I did the other book, and I was saving this one for this book. But there's the other earring with the little boot, and then there's a saddle and a horse head and a little horse shoe buttons. There's vintage buttons in here. A lot of them are metal and sort of wood looking. One of my stars, just a bunch of the fabric pieces and twine and rickrack, and just all kinds of fun stuff. I put a key on this one. Anyway, so that's the tassel, and it's really fun. Yeah, I had fun making those. So that clips up there, and it comes off if you don't want to keep it in there. And then there's some extra goodies that will come with this. There's a bunch of scrap fabrics in here and a couple of my flowers. And then it's full of ephemera tucked in. That's why it's so chunky. So this one I just tied it with, just took several pieces of twine to make the tie. And then when you open this one up, let me make sure I'm in frame. And let me get my coffee out of the way, my cold coffee out of the way. So I covered it with fabric on the inside. This, so you can see. So you'll see I took that really cool piece that Renee sent me. There was a couple of pieces in it in her kits, and I put the rooster back here, and then I just took a piece of linen. And this is a piece of that vintage linen tablecloth that I bought in Texas, and just made a pocket out of it. And then there's a little sort of makeshift envelope out of this really cute kids book page in here that you can use how you want. And another collage tag. And this one I actually took some old, this is another piece of that divider. And I collaged it with some old ledger and the ad from that Sears and Roebuck catalog, and some little pieces from, these are not actually vintage pieces, they're made to look like vintage. They came from that authentic kit. And then in that kit, up at the top where they do this branding strips, it says, "Wherever life plants you, bloom with grace." It's a French proverb, so I thought that was really cool. I put that at the bottom. So that's that tag. And then another little envelope made out of a quilting book page, and I just tucked those in there. So I'm not gonna say everything. I'm just gonna flip, because there's like 70 pages in here, and there are things tucked in just about most of the pockets, not every one, but there's just so much in here, from scrapbook paper to recipe book divider pages to, there's some Edith Holden in here. There's, you know, florals. Just, it's full. It's just full of fun stuff. I had a really fun time making this one, and I had to stop myself because it was just getting crazy. So there's some other little cards from that collection of paper that I bought from Authentique, which I thought, I really love that. Love that paper. And then this is a vintage bingo card I picked up from my favorite store that I shop at here at home. I thought these would be really pretty. I had someone, a sweet little friend, send me an Edith Holden book, and boy, it took me a minute to be able to take that apart, but I added a couple of pages in here. They're just so pretty, and that natural aging on these books is just phenomenal. Nice thick paper, and anyway, so scrapbook paper, a little vintage card, a lot of stitching in this, tons of pockets and tuck spots and spaces to write. Pocket. These came from, there's, I think I put a couple, yeah, there's a couple of these bigger blue. These came from a newer binder, but I love, y'all know I love blue, so I love that color. One of mine, this came from that country magazine that's photos mostly around North Carolina. But look at that bird up there. Well, there's this very pretty images in here. I did put a slide protector page in here. I have not put any extra goodies in there, but I will go back and put a few extra things, like maybe some star punches and some buttons, because this thing's pretty full. Another pocket. This is also a pocket. This came from old kids' encyclopedias, garden book. This is a pocket. This came from a garden binder. This is a really cool old vintage photo that I picked up at my favorite store here. There's a couple in here, but it looks like they're having a hog sale. This is back in the day. 1939. All right. I hope that doesn't offend anybody what was written on the back of that. I just noticed that. But anyway, I just thought these photos are really cool. This is some old vintage ledger that I picked up in Texas, one that I bought from Patty. And all these recipes and all these things in here came in those kits from Renee. I tried to put stuff in just about, well, I didn't put it in every pocket because you wouldn't be able to shut the book, but this was another vintage piece, linen piece, and I made a pocket here so you can tuck things in here. Another pocket from that preserve book. I just love that book. I'm going to have to find another one. And then a bunch of little pieces tucked in here for you to use. I'll leave some for surprises. Some ledger. Well, it's not really, this is just writing. This came from that book that I recycled at work. Writing paper. Needlepoint magazine. I love this right here. This is like a, it's like a cross stitch. A mix between cross stitch and just embroidery. That was in that kit. So it was an old napkin or dishcloth or whatever they used it for. And I made a pocket out of it and stuck quite a few things in here. There's a collage tag in here. And yeah, my sewing machine got a little bit cankered up here, but this is, it was having a hard time going through this. This is that beautiful vintage wallpaper that I found that you see behind here that I found when I was in Texas with Phaedra at a estate sale. So made a tag out of that. Recipe. This is some more of that stone paper that just feels like a really thin, like shelf liner paper. It's just, this is a really buttery feeling. It's really cool. I'll have to get her to send me some more of that. More from that country magazine. I just took an envelope, oops, and stitched that to some tea-dyed paper. And then in here, I actually played around with the washi. So I made a few fabric washi pieces. And I just left the edges. So you can leave it like that if you want to, or you can cut them. But you just peel this off and use it, and you can cut them in pieces. So I put a couple of those in here. I thought they were really pretty. And those vintage sheets that I was using to make that. More scrapbook paper, another pocket. Bunch of fun things tucked in here. Little vintage milk tab, or milk cap. Recipe. And again, I used the ones that, you know, like I said, most of this particular recipe, but most of it were country recipes. It's pineapple cornbread, sweet cornbread, Granny's apple cornbread, cornmeal spoon bread, another preserve page that I made into pockets and tucked a bunch of stuff in there. This came from a newer binder that a girl at work found for me. She shops for me too, so which is really cool. This was a newer book, but I love this. I love the blue, and I love this color, you know, with the kettle. And then I just put a little, one of my little paper clip charms here. I put the eyelet here, just stitched down here, put a little bit of fabric, and then put a strip of that paper on the other side, just to give it a little more interest. Vintage children book from that little horse book. This is actually a piece of a, and y'all don't freak out because I don't think anything was ever in it. It was one of those dewormer, hog warmer bags that that stuff came in, and they were big, like a feed bag. But I just thought it was cool, and it's like a trash bag. I mean, not trash bag, a grocery bag. And it just had the cool images on it, so I made like a little pocket page out of it. Look at the little lamb. Isn't he cute? So this is that Springtime in the Country. I can't even remember the name of that book. I thought he was so cute. And then, of course, the sort of farmhouse on the other side. This is just some cardstock, and I took an image, one of the pages from one of those little horse books, and I just stapled it in so that if you want to use the little girl, you can just you can use that side or you can use that side of it. It's from an Ideals. It's got poetry, more scrapbook paper, another one little signature from the Edith Holden, and I just thought this fit really well in here with the horses. And then springtime. I just love those. Those are just beautiful. Another little pocket page, scrapbook paper, pocket with a bunch of other stuff tucked in here. There's little Farmer McFlugel, homemade, little cards, recipe, flashcard, recipes, just fun stuff for you to play with in here. More fun stuff. This thing is packed full of funness. Another piece of ledger, and then I just took a few little pieces and clipped them in here. I love this little cow. That was in Renee's kit. Country magazine. And here what I did, I took that tab page and I just kind of played around with a little bit of collage. And one of the old photos that I found, I love these. I found some treasures. This whole family, well, this family member, this whole family, and they're still living. A lot of them were still living, is from my understanding. Just took his whole box of photographs of his family and gave them to the lady at the store that I shop at, and she was like, "You don't want any of these?" And he said, "No." I don't get that. It just, that tears my nerves up. But anyway, they weren't interested. I think they're apparently come from quite a bit of money, and this kind of stuff's just doesn't seem to be important to them. But anyway, so this was a really cool picture. It almost looks like she was at some kind of fair or something. And, you know, she's got the little thing around her. So she was probably submitting something for, you know, baked goods or something like that. Anyway, so I made this little collage and I made a pocket right here, and she is actually glued down. I thought that turned out really cool. And I put one of my little flowers there. Anyway, I like the way that turned out. It was something different that I hadn't really done. Some more writing paper, more recipe pages. I think that's one of the Ideal magazine. It's a pocket. More tea-dyed mixed media paper, and the little cute little girl on the little, I don't know if it's a horse or a donkey. Kind of looks like a donkey. It's really cute. Here I took a recipe page and made a little pocket here and a pocket here. This flips out. More recipe cards and recipes and little ephemera. This is just a little envelope. This is the avocado. I believe this is one of, I'm not sure if that's avocado dyed or if it was that, I think it was one of Renee's avocado dyed envelopes. And then here on this tab page came out of that same fairly new book that I have, but I like the color and the clock and the fact that it said etiquette. And then I just stuck this little frosting and cake booklet here for you to use, and I stuck another little kids book page on the back. File folder pocket. I did not put a big tag in there. I'm running out of that stuff, but you can make your own tag to go in there. Another floral page. That was some paper from Renee's kit. Bread recipes. More ledger, vintage ledger, and I made another little tag here from a little kid's book page and just some little scrap fabric. I just took that in here with some other little pieces from that I had in my stash that I cut out from Graphics Fairy. So this would be great. You don't have to use it like this. You can, or you can use it for collage throughout and other projects. Another pocket that I stuffed full of, I put some of the recipes that come from those little plastic things, the little plastic pages in there, and another recipe card, and there's some other bits tucked in there. And this is from that needlepoint book. Then from one of the Childcraft books I put in here because I had the purple cow and the yak on there. I thought that was cute. And on the back side I did, this is a printable from Rachel Everett Roxy Creations, and I had intended for this to be a pocket on this side, and then I sort of made a boo-boo and I, excuse me, I stitched around it by mistake. So then I just added a little piece of that little lace down the side to dress it up since I kind of boo-booed that. More scrapbook paper, another Edith Holden page, another garden book page that I turned into a pocket, and there's little S&H stamps, a guest check, a receipt, a couple of guest checks just tucked in there. I can't talk today, y'all. It has been a week, I'm gonna tell you. It has just been a week. My boss is retiring, and had his party yesterday, and I was just worn out last night. And I took off today. So this came from Childcraft book too, and I thought the Daniel Boone and the Maple Leaf, I thought all that fit in here. Home on the Range. And then the last piece is scrapbook paper with a little vintage playing card that I bought from Deb over at Deb's Crafting Room. I think that was in when I bought a few things from her, trying to support her too. And then there's a bag full of stuff in the back. And this is the back, and I made the other little pocket here. And then the floral piece that went with the rooster on this side. So I did not put any buttons or any flowers or anything right there, but I gave you a few things, you can use, or you can put something from your stash, because this was just getting too bulky. So I thought I needed to stop. But this is just full of fun stuff, full of goodies in here. And I just, I have so much fun making these. I really like doing the binders. So that is that. And I have another, golden book that I've finished that I'm gonna try to get that video done today. And then with regards to my giveaway, I did a little, sort of did a hidden giveaway in my last video for those 3 little golden book kits. And on that video, I tell you to comment on that video, and that I was going to announce the winner today. And today's Friday, May 24th. So I'm saying that just in case I can't get this to load today, because sometimes that happens. Sometimes it takes hours. Sometimes it loads up just like that. But, so I said I was going to announce the winner of that giveaway today, but I don't think I'm going to get to that today. So I'm going to extend that to Monday. Actually, let's do this Sunday, okay? And then I'm going to try to either Monday or Tuesday announce the winner of the giveaway. So that gives a few more people some options if you watch this video and you watch it to the end, to sign up and just go comment on that video. So it's the last one I did on the 3 new kits, 3 new little golden book kits that I have. And they're still available. They haven't sold yet. And I'm assuming nobody has either A, nobody's interested, or they're waiting to see if they win. Because part of that's going to be a little Golden Book kit, and then there'll be some other goodies included in the giveaway. So I hope that all makes sense. But I'm going to leave that open until Sunday, and then I'll announce it as first chance I get next week. I just haven't had time. My week was just crazier than what I thought, and today I'm going to try to get this video posted and another one done, and I've got some other errands to run, and I'm going to the pool. I'm beat. So anyway, thank you guys. Thanks for watching. And if you're interested, this will be available in my Etsy shop. And if you have any questions, please leave me comments, and please feel free to leave me a question or send me an email. My email's on most of my videos, so you can send me an email. And I hope everybody's having a great day and have a great Memorial Day weekend. Love you guys. Bye.